once again, when you have things swooping around, and does this make sense to constituents? Like if I tried to drive this and understand whose district I was in, you've got 4 districts touching one point.
Yeah, I mean,
and that point
I think your question of does this make sense? I think it makes sense if what you're trying to accomplish with this map of creating the 2 ag districts to minimally splitting Oroville. I think this district or the intent of this map seems to focus on splitting the city of Chico to balance for total deviation. Now, that's something I think that a legislative body can say. Chico has a city council that can articulate its interests, and that the Board of Supervisors is important in an urban setting, because the Board of Supervisors is focused on unincorporated areas and non-cities in a lot of ways. But that, again, is not something for me to say. It is something, I think it's a legislative decision for the board to say on what communities of interest it should balance. Because I can also, you've seen all the maps, right? Or not all, but you've seen some of the maps that show 2 urban Chico districts.
So is that in the Fair Maps Act, what you just said? I've never read that.
So the Fair Maps Act has a list of criteria that cities and counties have to follow.
But I've never heard what you just said, which is that a city has a city council, so therefore the county, it doesn't matter where the county lines are?
I'm saying that could be something that the board looks to. It's something that the San Luis Obispo County just articulated last week in passing their final map. I think the thing is about the Fair Maps Act is it gives you a set of criteria, but the people that must just make the decisions on what set of criteria or what set of communities of interest to follow, how to put forth the Fair Maps Act, that is up to you. That's up to the board. That's not. As a demographer, I'm here just to give you options on this is an option, that's an option. It's really in your hands to decide, okay, what is the best course of action, following the criteria of the Fair Maps Act, listening to all the communities of interest, taking into consideration everything before you, all the record. This is what you guys decide.
So I'm just clarifying. So if we're looking at a map that divides Chico 4 times, but creates the 2 ag districts, then what we're saying is that the 110,000 people community of interest in Chico is of less priority than the, I don't know, maybe 20,000 tops people who are now in a split agricultural district. And so we're going to divide what is being called a community of interest of 20,000 people in 2, instead of keeping them contiguous and together as we're told to do. And we're going to divide the greater population. Is that a good synopsis?
That's a good, yes.
So we are prioritizing the people who are living in agricultural lands over the community of interest of an entire city.
Yes, and I think, although I think one of the things that you have to think through too is that communities of interest are above keeping cities and census designated places whole. So if you have community of interest testimony that says you need to create these 2 agricultural districts, or you need to create this foothill district with a huge population loss, that's a community of interest statement, right? The cities can then be split to allow for that community of interest statement to be followed.
Does it matter how many you get? We just had almost 600 comments saying do not split Chico into 4 districts.
Again, I'm not here to
I'm just asking
order.
a question.
No, I don't know of any standard the courts have used to say what community of interest input is of greater value than another. All I know is that the courts and the statewide commission who's done this the most, it follows whatever gets to 9 votes for the commission, or whatever gets to 3 votes for a board, or however many votes you need to pass in a city council.